Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Wednesday. It's September 4th. It is 2024. It's the day before the NFL regular season gets kicked off on Thursday night. Joined today by Stevietpfl, TastefulTides in the DFS streets. We got a 10 gamer. Tim, what's happening, my friend?
Yeah, not much, Stevie. Pretty wild night on Tuesday night. A lot of different things happening. Chris Sale dominated just like we thought he would. Huge night by Kyle Schwarber, 3 home runs for him. So pretty wild action still going on in the MLB DFS streets. Obviously, we are looking forward to football. That's going to be awesome when that starts. Can't wait for week 1. Just finished my 145th best ball draft on DK, so I got 5 more left to do. So I'm still grinding those out.
That's commitment, my friend. That is commitment. Schwarber just hit his 3rd home run. What a baller day from him. The Blue Jays kind of did their thing. The Braves disappointed. I was the squad ride selection today. And my write-up was on the Braves, and it's so many opportunities to score runs today and just didn't. It was very tilting. And I mean, like you said, they dominated the game. It's just them and the Brewers. Like the Brewers, I have their over 4.5, and we are looking pretty good for our Pittsburgh Pirates money line bet. We were talking about that on the podcast. Like we got it at even money as soon as the Kyle Hendricks thing happened. It happened live on air, and I think Pittsburgh just won that game. So we hit the money line plus or even money Pirates, and then my boy Ortiz did his thing for Milwaukee, but the rest of the team really didn't do their thing. So I mean, overall, I have decent lineups. I probably won't end up losing money today. But I mean, I feel like it could have been such a bigger day. I was on a lot of the right stuff today. It happens, right? At the end of the day, it just happens. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday night. Before we get into breaking down these 10 games, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. Tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern, the RotoGrinders Morning Grind NFL breakdown for the main slate will happen. So Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. And I'm very excited to announce my co-host for NFL this year will be my longtime friend. I've been friends with him for a very long time. We've both been with RotoGrinders for over 10 years. We're RotoGrinders OGs, and I'm very excited to announce that this NFL season, my co-host for football is Notorious. It is going to be a banger show. Me and Noto doing NFL, breaking down each main slate game by game, Morning Grind style, and I can't even put it into words how excited I am that this all kind of came together the way that it did. And I'm very pumped. So Wednesday nights, turn on notifications, come hang out with us live, me and Noto on the Morning Grind NFL show this year. Gotta love it. Gotta love it, man. I'm not even I can't even put it into words. I'm so excited. Him and I were talking today, setting the Morning Grind game. And yeah, I'm so pumped. I could keep talking about it, but we have a lot of games to talk about. But yeah, very, very, very pumped. Him and I haven't done a show on a consistent basis in a long time together, but man, we have a ton of chemistry working together, and we've hung out a ton. And I'm so
I can't wait. I can't wait to listen to that, Stevie. You two are going to be great. Two true OGs of RG. 2 super experienced DFS players. That's going to be a really great listen.
Yeah, if you like single entry, 3 entry max stuff, that is what me and him do. We both specialize in that kind of contest, so it is going to be a good show for that. Obviously, we're going to break everything down, and we'll talk some large field tournament stuff. I do more large field tournament stuff for football. So yeah, very excited. Very happy that I got the okay to announce it. And I mean, tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, we will have baseball as well. So yeah, don't worry about that. We still will have a baseball podcast. Is Noto still doing the OG show? The OG show, I think, was done last year. I don't think they did it last year, but No OG show. I don't think anyway. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's why this kind of worked out. And maybe like every once in a while we'll have beer and Chop come on. I mean, we are the 4 and Dean. I got to give Dean a little bit. Dan more in a management role, but like we are the OGs of RG. I mean, we have been around for a very, very long time. My FanDuel account is 2009. We've been doing this, and I know Chop has been doing it for a long time. Noto, Beer, we've all been doing it for a very long time. So we are the RG OGs. Let's talk some baseball. 10 games on a Wednesday, a lot of baseball. And let's get started here. We got Boston at New York facing the Mets. 8 total. Pick 'em game. Houck against McGill. Any interest here in Tanner Houck?
I think he's a little bit too expensive given how how low his strikeout rate is. The Mets don't strike out at a very high level. He does do a really excellent job of keeping the ball on the ground, but I just feel like he's too expensive. He's not going to rack up the Ks. I don't think he has much of a ceiling in this matchup. So I'm out on Houck. So yeah, I think he's just too pricey.
Yeah, I mean, his overall ceiling I think is kind of capped. I will say, like, I don't know if we necessarily have a ton of ceiling pitchers on the slate. Like, there was a few guys that yesterday we talked about like had the ceiling. But I mean, I think this is one of the weaker pitching slates we've had. Like we are potentially looking at like Charlie Morton chalk today. I mean, it's one of those days where I'm more inclined to maybe take a shot on a guy like Houck, but he's kind of like fringy. I hate the matchup, right? Like I think it's the matchup more than anything else. The Mets are a low strikeout team. Ballpark's great. We saw Cutter Crawford have a decent game. I don't know what he ended up with, but I know he had a decent game. Houck is he does a great job of limiting the damage, but I don't necessarily love this spot for him.
If he was McGill's price, I would have interest. I think he's just $1,000, $1,500 too expensive.
Yeah, and then McGill on the other side here. I mean, it's really hard to like him in this spot. You know, I talked a lot about Peterson yesterday and how I like Peterson's upside. And I'm pretty sure he pitched really well too, right?
Oh, he dominated. He dominated. I pitched him in single entry. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I talked about how much I love the spot for him yesterday and like lefties against his team. And they weren't going to be able to get all the lefties out of the lineup. And hopefully 11 Ks. I did not realize that Peterson had 11 Ks. Wow, he crushed. So, yeah, way different, right? Right-handed pitchers against the Red Sox, you just don't do it. McGill, like he has some decent strikeout upside, but I think this is a bad spot for him overall.
So I guess I slightly disagree. I think this is an okay spot for him. I know the Red Sox are better against righties. I just love this ballpark. He does have a 26% K rate on the season. So I think he does have some upside for his price tag. So I actually don't mind McGill. Not somebody that I want to get, huge exposure to, but he would make my player pool if I was building out, say 10 or more teams.
Yeah, I just think he got a very soft comeback matchup, right? He was out for a month. He came back. He got the White Sox. People are going to see that. They're going to be like, oh, he came back and maybe he's good. He's not. He had a lot of hard contact, no barrels in that game. He kind of got a little lucky, and he really wasn't generating whiffs against the White Sox. And, yeah, I mean, overall, listen, we're allowed to disagree. I mean, in this price range, I would rather take shots, I think, on like Sears, potentially, maybe even like a Bird Song. Just go all the way down and just take a shot on like Bird Song. But like Sears is the guy that I really like highlighted in my research in this range. So I mean, that's where I would be personally. Bats. Any interest in the Red Sox bats here?
I mean, you can always play Duran and Devers, but I just don't I hate this ballpark. It's been cooler there. The wind's been blowing in there. So if that continues, I'm just going to continue to fade bats altogether. So not really for me.
Yeah. like the Red Sox aren't cheap. Duran is so expensive. Devers is so expensive. O'Neill is so expensive. Like Abreu at 41, I think is fine. Like if you end up in that range, and you want like a one-off Abreu. I don't stack in Citi Field very often. Devers, obviously, you can play him anywhere. Overall, not very excited about playing the Red Sox. Not very excited about playing McGill. I think this is a 3-2 game. Like this is a 3-2 type of game.
Yep.
Listen, do not call my Red Sox gutless. That is the quickest way to get muted in chat. Do not talk smack about my Sox. I'm kidding. Other side, Mets. I mean, I think again, like I don't necessarily want to play Tanner Houck, I don't think, but he does a great job limiting the damage, generates a ton of ground balls, throws strikes, really low ISO to both sides of the plate, doesn't give up a ton of barrels. Like, I don't want to play him. I don't think he gets a ton of strikeouts, but I don't think like the Mets lineup gets there. And again, like they're expensive too.
I was just going to say it's the exact same argument that you made for Boston. They're really, really expensive, and they're really not in that good of a spot. So I'm not going to be paying $5,900 for Lindor or $5K for Alonso. That's just too much for me. Even, like they're just too expensive, just straight up.
Moving on, we got Colorado at Atlanta, 8.5 total. Atlanta 300 favorite. Bradley Blaylock. Yeah, Blaylock. And Charlie Morton. Chalky Charlie Martin. Blaylock first here, 5,700 righty against Atlanta. Definitely more interested in righties against Atlanta than I am with lefties. But I mean, we haven't seen a lot of this guy. His strikeout rate's 13.9%. His whiff rate is very low. His swinging strike rate is very low. Like, I feel like the price is intriguing if he was facing somebody else, but he hasn't missed enough bats for me to want to play him against Atlanta. Like, you got to be able to miss bats against Atlanta.
Yeah, I have absolutely no interest in Blaylock. I don't care that he's a righty. I don't care that he's cheap. It's an easy fade for me.
I think I'm going to stay away as well. I don't think I can do it here. And then, like, the other side of this game, Charlie Morton, I really do think he's going to be popular today. Gosh. I don't want to play chalky Charlie Morton, but I get why he's chalky. I guess, like, it will come down to if I feel like, I mean, maybe like if the ownership is so high that I feel comfortable just like going down to like Sears and maybe playing like Kirby chalky. But like, I feel like the chalky pitching combo today is Kirby Morton. And I mean, I agree with it. There's sometimes it's good chalk. It's just Charlie Morton chalk sounds awful.
It always does sound awful, doesn't it? But I mean, this Rockies team is just so horrible. And Morton is really, really cheap, given this matchup. So, I mean, I know I'm going to be playing him in cash. I know that, whether or not I play him in single entry, probably I'm going to, but I can totally understand. This is not like Chris Sale chalk where you're just auto locking him in. You actually have to, think about this one. So, definitely he can be shaky. He has shaky control at times. So that can ruin your night pretty quickly. But again, this Rockies team, they don't really walk outside of like Toggly and Doyle. Like the rest of this lineup has really, really low walk rates. So I'm not really concerned about, Morton's potential issues with the control.
The Rockies have one of the lowest walk rates in baseball against right-handed pitching this season. So like, again, like the only counter argument I feel like that you can make for Charlie Morton in this spot is ownership. Yeah. It's a fantastic matchup. I mean, they have one hitter with a strikeout rate under 20%. And he's a guy that has 38 at bats. So, like, I mean, you have to be excited about the matchup. It's just you're not excited about the ownership. I mean, game theory and baseball. I mean, baseball in general. Like anything can happen in baseball. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I'm not arguing the matchup. I'm not arguing playing him. I'm arguing the ownership might potentially make me uncomfortable. That is all I'm arguing. Like that. Like if you play cash games and you don't have Charlie Morton, you're probably building wrong cash lineups today. I mean, people do that, I guess. Still, bats here. Like, see, like you can't even make the like argument for a Colorado leverage stack because they're just not good. I mean,
Right.
you can definitely talk about like Tovar. He's been fantastic this season at times. Toglia has a lot of power. He just strikes out a ton. Doyle has some power, but he strikes out a ton. Like there is an argument for maybe playing those three guys, but the rest of the lineup stinks. I mean, they're just bad.
Yeah, I have absolutely no interest in Colorado as a stack or even as one-offs.
Yep. Just can't do it today. I mean, on the Atlanta side, like, I think we want to attack this spot with the low strikeout pitcher, but gosh, they tilted me. I'm not even gonna lie and sit here and say that they didn't tilt me. Just watching Freeland, like throw pitches that are so hittable and they ground out. It's just like, what are we doing? I think like we always say this with baseball, you gotta have to have a short memory. But we should mention Whit Merrifield got hit in the head, left the game early. Eighth inning, I think. I think it was really late in the game. He walked off the field. Just in general, so he might be back in the lineup. And if he's out of the lineup, we get another potential really cheap bat in the lineup here for Atlanta. So want to see how this kind of plays out for the Atlanta lineup wise. But I mean, they're definitely in play today. You can't overlook a low strikeout pitcher against a team with a ton of power like Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, like Michael Harris under 4K, probably batting leadoff. Standout play. Soler at 4,500, I think is a fantastic play. Matt Olson, I mean, I think has a really great shot at a huge game tomorrow. Ozuna has a 289 ISO against righties, so I mean, all these big Atlanta bats are firmly in play.
All right, moving on. We got Pittsburgh at Chicago taking on the Cubs. 8 total in this one. Cubs a 190 favorite. We got Domingo Germán, Chata, pitching for Chicago. Any interest here in Germán?
No, I do not have any interest in Germán.
Yeah, like we don't. I feel like he's been pitching on the bullpen a lot too, right? Like,
yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he's really like a full on.
I mean, he's thrown like 70, 75 pitches, so I assume that he gets a decent leash.
But then he went back down to 54, and he was doing.
Well, he came out. I know for a fact he came out of the bullpen in that Cleveland game.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if he started the Cubs Texas game and like those games, but I know for a fact he started came out of the bullpen for the Cleveland game. Because what it was, I think it was Keller, right?
Yeah.
Chat will tell me, but I'm pretty sure
he came in. He came in for Keller.
Keller was getting hit very hard in that game. He wasn't missing any bats. So Germán came in, but anyway, I'm not playing him in this spot. I will say like wind should be very neutral. We'll obviously see what Roth has to say in the morning as far as the wind, but the wind looks very neutral for this game. Shota, yeah, I mean, he's not a huge strikeout guy typically, but like Pittsburgh's not very good against left-handed pitching. They're much better against right-handed pitching than they are against left-handed pitching. So I think this is one of those spots where on this slate, he's very playable when we're looking at matchups and potential hitters or pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, he is definitely in the cash game discussion. He's definitely in the GPP discussion. I really like him on the slate. I think he dominates them. We just saw him put up 8 Ks against Washington. I could see the same result against Pittsburgh. He is under 10K. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love him. He's got such elite control too.
Yep.
So he's not gonna hurt himself. So I really like Shota in this matchup.
I will say this, like he has had a huge home run problem recently. Like he's allowed at least one home run in 8 straight and 9 of his last 10 and multiple home runs in those games. But it seems like that's it, right? Like he gives up that home run or 2 home runs, and he just doesn't really give up much else outside of that. So when you have a matchup like this where there are so many strikeout potential bats in this lineup, that like 1 home run probably doesn't kill you. So I definitely recognize the home run issue. But I also recognize like this lineup is not the lineup that like worries me a ton. So I like him in this spot. I really do. And the Cubs or Pittsburgh bats, any interest in the Pittsburgh bats? I'm going to skip right over it.
The bats? No, I really don't have any interest in the bats.
Yeah, I mean, McCutchen throughout his career has been good against lefties, but the guy that I really like as a one-off here, assuming, oh no, he's out, right? I forget Joey Bart's out.
I was trying to guess who you're even thinking of.
Yeah, I forget that Joey Bart's out. But Joey Bart would be like, he's the guy that I played a ton this year against left-handed pitching for Pittsburgh, and they're not always on the main slate. They're like, they play those like early weird slates. Yeah, so I just forgot that. Listen, I'm allowed to mess up.
No, I know.
I got excited because Adames just got an RBI double, and I'm now we're in the bottom of the 11th, and it's 4. We have the over 4.5 in that game. I bet it's separate of like with the parlay. So
yeah,
parlay missed because of Atlanta.
That helped me out quite a bit.
I will say I do have some interest in the Cubbies today. I don't know if I necessarily like a full Cub stack, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I hate a full Cub stack either. Domingo Homron is awful, both sides of the plate, not a huge strikeout guy. Will typically get hit, somewhat hard from both sides of the plate. So, I mean, I think the Cubs are very playable today, assuming that like the weather or wind is not like blowing in at a massive rate. It doesn't look like that. So I do like the Cubs today. Like, they're not overly expensive. We got some cheap bats in this lineup. Like, it seems to be a stack that would work overall here.
Yeah, I think that they're fine for a stack. I don't mind like Michael Busch or Seiya Suzuki. I think Bellinger's fine, but maybe a little too expensive.
Maybe more of a 3-man than a full stack.
Yeah, maybe like a Suzuki Hat Busch, something like that. I could get behind that.
I like playing PCA too, but I'm a sucker for that talent. Like, he's been hitting the ball really well over the last like two and a half weeks. And he's not. No one ever plays him because he hits down in the lineup, and people hate playing hitters that hit down in the lineup. So, I mean, PCA, Crow Armstrong for people that don't know who we're talking about.
Maybe this is a full stack then. If you add PCA.
I don't necessarily hate the full stack. I think like looking at it from an outside looking in, like a full stack makes sense. And like, we should also mention the Pittsburgh bullpen is a bottom 5 bullpen. They're awful. So like if they get Herman out in the 3rd inning of this game, and like your stack's doing what you want your stack to be doing to have the ceiling, then you're getting like this bad bullpen behind him. So I think I talked myself back into like a full Cub stack. I think they're in play today for sure.
It's all going to be about weather for me. It's all about the wind.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah. 12th inning in the Milwaukee game. I need them to shut down St. Louis here and get that 1 run and end this thing. So
I need an Ortiz homer. That would really.
Hey, we got it earlier though.
I know. Like, I need another one, Stevie. I need another.
That's my guy. Ortiz has been fantastic. Torino and Ortiz homered. I had Vlad in my main lineup too. I didn't have Schwarber in my main lineup. I played Ozuna.
I had Schwarber. So
good old Ozuna, baby. All right, Cleveland at Kansas City, 8.5 total. Kansas City a 145 favorite. Ben Lively, Seth Lugo facing off against each other here. Any interest in Ben Lively?
I don't think so. I'm trying to look. Okay, yeah, 7,000. I don't think so. I mean, he's still got such low K stuff. Gives up a lot of hard hits at a high ISO to lefties. Not a lot of damage in this KC lineup though. I still can't do it. I just can't do it. I'd much rather pitch McGill.
I actually think I'd prefer McGill over him too. I will say this, right? Like, I think there's been plenty of times this year that you could take shots on Ben Lively. he's slowing down. Something's going on with him. His whiff rate and swinging strike rate has dipped a ton. His strikeout rate on the season's 19.3%. Over the last month, it's 12.7%. And he's actually had some decent lineups or like matchups. He's really struggling to miss bats right now. And I think like at Kansas City, when I was like doing my research pre-show, I wrote them down as like one of my favorite sneaky stacks today. So I don't like Lively. I mean, everything that he's been doing recently is just kind of worrying me. He's been getting hit very hard and not missing bats. So
I wish Vinny P was in this lineup still. You would smash.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this would be a great spot for Pasquantino, but yeah, well, he fractured his thumb, right? Like he's out.
Yeah, he's
2
out
months,
for
I think.
a while. Yeah, he's out.
Yeah,
for
I don't even know if he'd be back for the playoffs, but other side of this game, Lugo. I think there's plenty of times you could play Lugo. I don't think this is necessarily one of the spots I want to play Lugo. He's 8,700, and I know he's had some games recently where he's had some upside. Cleveland's just such a low strikeout team. They're such a team like you just don't like playing pitchers against them.
Yeah, I never really want to attack Cleveland. I don't necessarily play Cleveland, but I don't want to attack them either. Lugo does not have a high K rate at all. He's too expensive. We've already named like 3 or 4 pitchers that I'd rather pitch over Lugo, and we're only like not even halfway through the slate. So I'm completely out on Lugo.
Yeezy in chat says Bybee cooked them. Bybee at least has like some strikeout stuff, right? Like we were talking about it yesterday. I think Bybee's at like 27%, and like Lively's doing the exact opposite of Bybee. Like he's dropping off a ton. So
and Gavin Williams the other day cooked them as well.
Shocking. Cleveland bats. Any interest in the Cleveland bats here?
Not particularly. I mean, you can always do the J-Ram, Josh Naylor, maybe. But I don't really want to attack Lugo.
Lugo's a good enough pitcher that I'm with you. Like if I was going to stack Cleveland, it'd be a mini stack with Ramirez. And I'd almost like play Manzardo over Naylor just because of the price. But I mean, Naylor is definitely like Naylor and Ramirez are like the 2 guys that have had upside in this lineup. The rest of them just don't strike out. They just put the ball and play a ton. But yeah, I mean, overall, probably not playing Cleveland today. I think there's much better spots. I already kind of said it. I think Kansas City is very, very good in this spot. Looking at everything that has been going on, advanced stats wise for Lively, I think this is a really good spot for Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, MJ Melendez is in a really good spot, and he's very, very affordable. He's going to project well. Michael Massey, 4,400, I think is fantastic. And obviously, always, anytime, Bobby Witt, who's really good against righties also. So I love all 3 of those players.
All right, moving on. We got St. Louis at Milwaukee. They're playing in the top of the 12th right now as we're recording. 8 total in this game. The Cardinals are 125 favorites. Sonny Gray, Colin Ray. Any interest here in Sonny Gray?
I think we have to have a little bit of interest just because he does have close to a 30% K rate, pretty low walk rate. The Brewers aren't like huge strikeout team, but there's a couple guys in that lineup that do strike out at a pretty high clip. So I think we have to have some interest, but he is a little bit pricey. I like Shota a lot more than Gray, but I'm sure ownership will reflect that also. But I think Gray does have a ceiling in this matchup, and pitching is not like super stellar on the slate. So I think in GPPs, he's got to be in your pool.
I agree with you. I think he has to be in the pool today. I mean, I definitely prefer him against like right-handed heavy lineups. So like if the Brewers run out like 7 lefties, I would definitely lower my ownership on him. He is a guy that I love playing against right-handed offenses. And like with this game in the 12th right now, and like how many arms have been thrown in this game on both sides, like if Sonny Gray is pitching good, like there's better chance for him to get like 95 to 100 pitches instead of 85 to 90. So that's always something to keep in the back of your head. But again, Sonny Gray is another guy that has really been struggling with home runs lately. We were just talking about it. I think it was Shota, right? So, I mean, he's allowed at least one home run in 6 straight games, multiple home runs in 2 of those games. So that is very, very concerning against a team that has plenty of power and speed. Other side of this one, Colin Ray. Like, he's not awful, but he's not great. Cardinals are hit or miss. I mean, I don't necessarily love it or hate it. I mean, I probably don't play a lot of him in this spot because I would try to find a guy that has a little bit more ceiling than him.
I was just going to say the exact same thing. Like, I really don't think he has any ceiling. He's close to 8K. Like, he's not low 7s or high 6s anymore. So, like, this is just like, there's just no ceiling with him. I'm out on Ray.
Cardinals bats. Any interest in St. Louis here?
I mean, I think maybe like a Burleson, maybe a Donovan, some of these cheaper left-handed bats for St. Louis, I could get in on. No interest really in. I mean, I guess Goldschmidt's price is coming down, so I guess 4,200 is okay. Yeah, Mason Wynn I think is also good. So like maybe like a Wynn, Donovan, Burleson stack would be okay.
Yeah, I wrote down like Seattle or St. Louis 3-mans. That's what I wrote down on this slate. Like, I don't even hate the righties. Like, Colin Ray has been struggling with like right-handed power recently. So like Goldschmidt and Arenado, I think are fine too. I like the Wynn call. Wynn is always a guy that can steal a base if he gets on base too. So I don't mind like a 3-man for St. Louis today. I think it's more of a 3-man for me than a full stack. And honestly, like Sonny Gray, I don't mind chasing some home runs against Sonny Gray. I talked about his home run issues recently. So my favorite would probably be Willy Adames. Like, he's scorching. I mean, I can't even like keep saying just how hot this dude is. And I mean, just again, had a big hit there in the bottom of the 11th with a double to extend the game. Like, dude is hot. So Sonny Gray, I prefer lefties against him, but I will definitely take some shots on home runs here in Adames or any of these lefties that crack the lineup for me.
Yep, I don't hate it,
and I don't know if I'd stack. Right, I think it's more of chasing some one-off power.
Yeah, I think it's just one-offs, really. I would not be stacking the Brewers.
I do get plenty of builds where it's like 5-2-1s or 4-3-1s when I'm messing around with like lineup HQ, and like these are the perfect like ones for me. Like home run upside type plays is what I'd be trying to get those ones and those stacks. One-offs. New York at Texas, 9 total pick'em game. Stroman and Eovaldi. High total, I thought, for like these two pitchers. I mean, these two offenses are very good, but I mean, that makes sense. Any interest in Marcus Stroman at 6,600?
I know. They finally
the price is so intriguing.
Yeah. They finally priced him, I think, correctly. He's been expensive like all season. So, but honestly, I still would rather pitch McGill. So, I'm not really. I'm assuming Seager will be back in the lineup after they sat him on Tuesday night. So I don't know. Like, it's very, very tempting, but he has no K upside at all. And he doesn't have amazing control either. So really, I don't really like it, especially if he's going to get ownership.
Let me ask you this. If you could lock in 18 fantasy points right now for Marcus Stroman, would you lock him in?
I mean, I guess, but I don't feel like you can with him.
In like a single entry build, I don't think Stroman's the answer. But like in a 20 entry or 150 entry max lineups today, again, I don't think there's a ton of pitchers with like these huge ceilings today. And I think like if Stroman can get you 18 at 6,600, you take that to the bank. And this dude, like you said, his command is all over the place. But like recently, Stroman has done a fantastic job keeping the ball on the ground, generating soft contact. Some of that's matchup. Like some of the matchups he's had recently have been fantastic. And and to like limit home runs. But I mean, he hasn't allowed a home run since July 27th, and it's September 4th. Like, he's gone a month, and he's faced Texas, Toronto, St. Louis. I don't love playing Marcus Stroman. Like, if he was 7,500 here, this wouldn't even be a conversation for me. But at 6,600, I don't think he's a terrible play. I like paying down a pitcher. I talk about it all the time. Eovaldi on the other side here, coming off of a monster start, but hey, with Chicago White Sox, doesn't shock anybody. Any interest in Eovaldi?
9,300. I think it's just too much. I prefer, obviously Morton more, Shota more. I prefer Gray more. There's going to be a couple of pitchers we haven't talked about that I like more. Pretty tough matchup. So I would be out on Eovaldi.
Yeah, 9,300, tough matchup against the Yankees. Just not the matchup for him. Like, this is a really, really good offense, and I mean, they hit right-handed pitching very well. So yeah, I mean, I'm out on Eovaldi. I don't know if I necessarily would stack the Yankees in this spot. Like, I think I respect Eovaldi enough. But like, if the Yankees are going to be lower owned because they're facing Eovaldi, I'll definitely run some Yankee stacks because
I bet they're going to be super low owned, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, they have that upside to just break any slate at any given time. They're just one of those like handful of teams that can do it. So I personally don't mind playing some Yankees bats, but overall, I mean, I do respect Eovaldi enough where I probably wouldn't stack them a ton.
Would you take some like one-offs of obviously of Judge, Soto, and then I really love Seager on the other side of this game. I like him quite a bit. 5,500.
Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you can hear me. I can't hear you because I got a phone call through my Mac and cut my sound off, so I'll have to fix that in a second. But you can hear me, so that's good. Rizzo being back, I think, is huge. It adds another left-handed bat in this lineup that just makes the lineup, I feel like, overall better. So I think Rizzo being back helps. And he came back hitting, right? Like doubles and back-to-back starts. So I think in that aspect, you definitely like it. As far as one-offs, if I'm playing the Yankees, I feel like I'm stacking them. I don't feel like it's a spot that I would play one-offs personally. Thoughts here on the Texas bats?
Yeah, I mean, it really just be Seager for me. Probably. I mean, just really Seager. Maybe Nathaniel Lowe because he's pretty cheap. Maybe Jonah Heim too. But really, it's just Seager's the priority, and attack him with lefties if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Seager would be where I would get my most interest from Texas. I like Texas. I like this game. I mean, I originally was like, maybe the total seems a little high, but I mean, I think the total's probably right.
It's 8.5, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have it at 9, but I wrote it down an hour ago. So hour and a half ago now. But yeah, I mean, I like the Texas stack. They're another team that I would leave in my player pool as a stack.
Yeah.
Moving on. Sorry, I'm good on sound now. I can hear you again. I coach club volleyball. A lot of people already know that, but my club director was calling me. So through me, it rings through my computer because all my Apple devices are connected. So Dodgers, Angels, Battle LA, 9.5 total. Dodgers a 210 favorite. Bobby Miller, Griffin Canning. Any interest here in Bobby Miller?
So I cannot stand Bobby Miller, but I think we have to have a little bit of interest just because of the matchup. We've seen him put up 20-point fantasy games at 7,300, that's completely fine. So I think he's got to be in your player pool. You might even make a three max setting, just because the matchup is so strong.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Bobby Miller this year, and I'm not starting now. Listen, I'll play just about anybody against this team. So like, I hear you. And like he's a guy that throws a lot of strikes and doesn't typically walk a lot of people. I know he's been walking more hitters recently. Gosh, I really hate playing this guy. Like even the thought of playing,
I can't stand playing him.
But I mean, I haven't checked. What's Bueller doing? I think that's obviously. I think
Bueller's absolutely fine.
Yeah, Bueller has 5 strikeouts, 4 innings, couple hits allowed, 1 earned run.
Yeah,
I mean, like
that's what I'm worried Bueller's going to do.
Yeah, they're very comparable pitchers to each other. So, like, I get it. I get the idea. Like, if Charlie Morton's chalk and you want to play a little bit of Bobby Miller because he's facing the Angels, like, I hear you. Canning 5K Dodgers, no chance, right?
I can't do that.
No chance. Yeah, Griffin Canning below average strikeout pitcher, and the Dodgers probably the best offense in baseball. No chance. Dodgers are expensive, and like I talked about this yesterday, and like when I was building out lineups, like I just couldn't get on the Dodgers because they're just so expensive, and I feel like I'm going to continue to have that problem unless they just get. I mean, like Tommy Edman and Lux open up things, but like I feel like everybody's Dodger stack is the same, like because you play two of the cheap bats and the expensive bats, and like you end up on the same type of builds, but. I don't know. Like, love the Dodgers. Love the spot. If salary wasn't a thing, like, I would play Dodgers as much as possible here, but salary is a thing. I mean, obviously, I like the spot. It's more of a salary thing.
I completely get it. I do think that Max Muncy is too cheap still, 4,800. But yeah, they are the top stacks on the board, but they're very, very hard to play.
Oh man, yeah. Like it feels bad, like wanting to be not getting enough ownership going up against Griffin Canning, right? Like it just feels bad. So yeah.
I mean, you could play Ohtani, Lux, Muncy, Edman, and let's throw in Miller just for fun.
Yeah,
and then throw in Morton. You still have pretty good amount left.
Yeah, but like you just built the same Dodgers lineup as everybody else. Like if you're playing the Dodgers and you want to make your build different, don't play Betts and Ohtani.
Yeah, and then or
like play Freeman, Muncy, Smith, Teoscar, like 3 of those 4 guys, and then play Lux and Edman, and like your Dodgers stack is different. Like I think most people that stack the Dodgers are going to play one of, if not both, Betts and Ohtani. So like if you like the Dodgers and you're just like, I'm going to play them in the spot, Griffin Canning stinks, play 3 of the 4 other really good hitters in this lineup and hope that like Ohtani and Betts don't hit 2 home runs. I mean, like Ohtani, 1 home run from Ohtani doesn't kill you at 7K. Like he's 7K. If he hits 1 home run, he goes 1 for 4 with a home run, he doesn't kill you. Like if Mookie Betts can beat you more ways. Like Ohtani can beat you more ways too because of his stolen base upside. But like I like the idea of being underweight on Ohtani and Betts and Dodger stacks just to make them different.
Or you could not pitch Morton, right? That would make you very, very different from most Dodger stacks also.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the Miller potential play comes in instead. Angels bats. Any interest in the Angels against Miller?
Well, I'm trying to make a case for Bobby Miller, so really I do not have any interest in the Angels.
Yeah. I hear you. I mean, it's the same one. I would prefer like Moniak, maybe some Taylor Ward if I wasn't playing Miller and I wanted like some cheap bats. Hoppy at catcher has some upside.
Right. I like Zach Neto the best, but I don't want to fill.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah.
I don't want to fill my shortstop spot with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how do you play that guy at shortstop?
Right. You can't. So I'm not going to.
Yeah. Moving on. Seattle at Oakland. Very, very excited about this game. 7.5 total. Seattle 140 favorite. Kirby and Sears. Kirby's like your chalky spend up, but I might actually fade him today. That was my initial lean when I was like breaking down the slate pre-podcast. My initial lean was Kirby's been struggling. Oakland has a ton of power. Let's fade Kirby was my initial reaction to him being the chalky pitcher here. Maybe he's not chalky and I'm just off, but Oakland 9K Kirby, I think he's going to be chalky.
He's going to be one of the more popular pitchers on the slate.
Taylor Ward just hit a home run, by the way. Boom.
Boom. It's gonna be like Morton number 1, then maybe Shota, and then maybe Kirby. Those will be the top 3, I would imagine.
Yeah. What are your thoughts here on Kirby? Like, Oakland is not like they're not a pushover offense. They strike out a lot, but Kirby's not a huge strikeout guy.
Yeah, I mean, and he's pretty expensive too. Like, he's 9,000. So, I mean, I'm still personally leaning towards Shota. If I'm going to go 9K or higher, I'm going Shota over Kirby. But it's such a like the A's are so like boomer bust. Like, they're not a pushover, but they strike out so much. So even though Kirby's not a strikeout pitcher, he could easily strike out 9 A's. We would not be shocked. So I don't know. I think I prefer Shota, but I obviously can't hate on Kirby really in this spot.
Yeah, listen. I will say, like, his advanced stats for August are atrocious. But I mean, if there's ever a spot to get some strikeouts, Oakland does strike out a ton. So I get both sides, but I like to give my thoughts, and like my gut is saying Oakland over Kirby today.
So you want to get to some Oakland bats also, is what you're saying?
I do. I mean, listen, like his last 30 days, he has a 297 ISO, a 427 WOBA, and his barrel rate is up like 5.5%. Like, it has been a rough go for him. He's been getting hit hardest of his career over these last like 30 days. And like the Angels, the Giants, Pittsburgh, and Detroit, like that's his last 5 games. And his advanced stats for the last 5 games are awful. Like, he has given up 9 home runs. 9 home runs against the Angels, the Giants, Pittsburgh, and Detroit twice. Like, if those teams can hit him, Oakland can hit him, man. They have so much ceiling. So, I mean, we'll talk. I mean, we obviously just kind of talked about the Oakland bats, but my initial lean is no Kirby. And then my initial lean is all the JP Sears. I like JP Sears a lot in this spot.
You're going to have to sell me on JP Sears. Not that he's horrible, but not somebody that like I'm actively wanting to roster.
I mean, it's a guy that has some strikeout upside, and he's a reverse splits pitcher, and he's going to face 8 righties. Like, I mean, that's the thing that is appealing, right? Like, he doesn't walk hitters. He has a really good ISO and WOBA against righties, especially recently. And he's just really been pitching well. I mean, you're obviously worried about Rodriguez, Riley, and Rosarina, but like, who else are you worried about in this lineup? I mean, we've been attacking Seattle all year. They strike out a ton, and this is a good ballpark to limit the damage a little bit. Oakland, not like the best strikeout ballpark because of the huge foul lines, but I think Sears at 7,700 can put up 20 plus. And again, just going to keep picking on the Seattle team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love it as much as you do. I'd rather get to McGill in this price range. I'd rather go down to like Birdsong or Bobby Miller too. But I mean, hey, we don't have to agree on everything, right?
No, I mean, that's what the best part of the podcast is. Like,
Yeah.
I still, at the end of the day, I'm going to respect the heck out of anything that you have to say or any co-hosts. Like, so
yeah,
you got to have your own thoughts. I mean, we make it a point. I've always made it a point to like never talk pre-show, so you can just kind of come on and give your thoughts. I give my thoughts, and we move on.
You did give me a nice pot roast recipe pre-show.
I did. So. I did. My wife did text me the recipe. I just haven't sent it to you. I got to do that.
All right.
Seattle bats here. What do you like here for Seattle?
I mean, I don't mind the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. I think he's pretty decent play. I actually like Randy Arozarena also. I like where did he go? J-Rod's fine. Probably a little bit too expensive, but he's okay. I like Raleigh Arozarena, Robles at 3,800, Polanco at 3,200. So I don't really mind getting to some Seattle bats.
Yeah, this is one of the spots where it's very interesting if you're not playing Sears because, you look at this team and you're like, all right, I can definitely get behind the price tag on a Rosarina. I can get behind the price tag on Riley. I mean, you could even like talk me into Julio Rodriguez under 5K, right? Like we know the power this guy has, and I know it has just been a rough go for him this year. He has definitely been hitting the ball a lot better recently. So like I can get behind a 3-man if I'm not playing Sears, but talk to me here about Oakland before I give my wonderful thoughts about them.
I mean, they are just so classically boomer bust. It's definitely, Brent Rooker has a 261 ISO against righties. Fantastic numbers. Bangaliers, right? Bangaliers and Rooker. And maybe Blade also. Other than that, this bottom half, I have no interest in.
Yeah, I mean, I like Oakland a lot in this spot. Like, I don't know if I'd full stack them. I think they're a really interesting team to like 3 or 4-man stack. I don't know if I'm potentially get to 5 if like Kirby is getting really chalky. I love leverage stacks, and I feel like if Kirby's chalky, like Oakland is just going to be that leverage stack for me. So if you are a premium member and you wake up tomorrow and like you look at a very chalky Oakland team, just get ready for the expert survey for Stevie to be all over the Oakland bats if Kirby's chalky. So just get ready. I like Oakland. I like Butler. I like Blade.
I was just gonna say Butler too. He's pretty cheap still. Yeah.
Yeah, and like these guys have so much ceiling. Like, don't hate on my Oakland bats, man. Like this is a team that I need an Oakland minor league hat. Someone send me a really cool Oakland, like tweet me a really cool Oakland minor league baseball hat that I can buy. I'm itching to buy a minor league baseball Oakland, like a cool Oakland hat. I don't even know if it's a thing. Like, I don't know if they have a cool hat, but somebody tweet me one. Like, I want a cool Oakland minor league baseball hat. So, all right, Detroit at San Diego, 7.5 total. San Diego, 190 favorite. Montero and Darvish facing off against each other. Any interest here in Montero?
Definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a huge strikeout pitcher anyway, and like this matchup just terrible for him. San Diego still one of the lowest strikeout teams in baseball. Darvish here hasn't pitched since May in the bigs. He did throw a sim games against minor leaguers. So like, it's like a practice game. Like he pitches against like the batting cages are up and they like rotate hitters in. So it's not like a full on game. He threw 66 pitches. I assume he's going to be in the 65 to 75 range here. I could be wrong, but like, that is what I would kind of estimate for him in this spot. It is Detroit. He is 8K. Unless we get some like full on announcement, I do not trust this matchup, or I do not trust the pitch count for him. I like the matchup.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
Detroit.
no, yeah.
But I don't trust the pitch count for him.
Me either. We're not rostering Darvish. I don't care how many lineups you're making. I think it's a bad idea.
It's the pitch count for me more than anything else.
I think maximum you're getting 75. Just it's not enough.
Yeah, and like you have to remember in the back of your head, like San Diego's in a really good spot, like standings wise. Like they need Darvish for the stretch. Like this is not the time to push him, and they're playing Detroit. So yeah, I mean, I'm not playing Darvish today. I'm not playing Detroit bats either, though. Like I do tend to like play some Detroit bats. Everyone knows Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green are my guys, but yeah, I mean, this is just not the spot I want to play them.
Yeah, definitely no Detroit bats for me.
San Diego, they're not necessarily cheap. Do you have any interest here in San Diego?
There's a little 3-man that I like for San Diego. Jackson Merrill, Profar, and Cronenworth, all under 5K. I think they all have pretty good upside. So I like that correlation at those price tags.
Yeah, Merrill, like I mean, this guy is just having
he's amazing. Yeah. He's amazing.
What a find by San Diego. He's huge. All right, we finish out the slate. Arizona at San Francisco. We got Zach Gallen, Hayden Birdsong, 7.5 total. Arizona 145 favorite. Zach Gallen, he is a guy that I just absolutely love today. You know, one of the reasons that I feel so confident about getting off of George Kirby is I just like Zach Gallen a lot. Like he has been up or down, up or down, up or down, and I get that. But man, San Francisco is just a fantastic matchup for righties right now. They have a ton of it's a very underrated matchup because they've called up some hitters and they strike out a lot. And now we're adding even more strikeouts to a team that was striking out a lot. So I am just going to play the ceiling here with Zach Gallen because I really do think Gallen has a much better ceiling than Kirby today.
See, I think he's gonna be super popular also. So it's gonna be Morton, Kirby, Gallen, and Shota. I love Gallen also. I think he's an amazing spot at 8,400. I love the matchup a ton. So really great spot.
By the way, the Brewers stink. I just realized they didn't score a run. Good job, Brewers. Birdsong, other side here. 6K is a nice price tag, but Arizona, they've been hitting a lot better recently, and I feel like this team is much better against right-handed pitching than they are against left-handed pitching. Stinks for them. Like Christian Walker just got back from the IL, and on Tuesday, Gary L went on the IL. So one good hitter back, one good hitter out kind of situation with stinks because we're like, oh, Christian Walker's back. That's great. There was a good report that came out today too that Ketel Marte is very close to returning, so that's good for this team as well. Not going to happen, I feel like tomorrow, but they did say it is very possible that it happens on this road trip. So that's good. It was an ankle sprain, and if he's feeling good, I'm sure that it wouldn't shock me. And they go to Houston after this, so it sounds like it will happen either in this series or at Houston. And with Gary L getting put on the IL, it might happen sooner than later too. So, Birdsong for you?
I think he could be part of the pool in a 20 max 150 setting, just because he does have a high K rate and he's so cheap. So for that reason, he would be in my pool, but nobody that I would be playing in 3 max or single entry.
Yeah. He's cheap, right? He's just so cheap that you could potentially take a shot. But again, you look at recent for Arizona and Carroll is starting to, is he healthy? Is he good? His ISO is 400 over the last month. this is the Corbin Carroll like we've been waiting for all year.
Yeah.
Like he is just he's got 5 home runs over the last 10 games or something like that.
Yeah,
Christian Walker being back is huge. Jock Peterson, like Grichuk, like when he's getting starts, Castillo, the catcher, like I think the matchup's a lot tougher. And I mean, I definitely prefer the Arizona bats more than I prefer Birdsong today.
Yeah, I can see that.
He has strikeout though. Like he's a guy that strikes people out.
Yeah,
he has a lot.
He could easily get 6 Ks for 6,000. That's my only argument.
Wyatt Langford just hit a game run. Like I told Will, don't mess with my boy Langford. You all know, like that happened on the podcast yesterday. Don't mess with my boy Wyatt Langford. Gosh, he is going to be so good. We're going to talk about Wyatt Langford for the next 15 years. Just remember that I said that 15 years from now, and you'll be like, oh, do you remember that guy that used to talk about baseball? Arizona bats. What do we like here for Arizona?
Well, you mentioned it. Corbin Carroll, obviously fantastic play. I'm assuming Jock will be in the lineup at 4,500. Fantastic play. I'm not sure other than that. I mean, I guess McCarthy 4,400 is okay. That'd really be it for me.
I like Arizona. I think they're very stackable today. Last game on the slate. I don't think they'll get a ton of ownership, and we're just watching them absolutely explode here on Tuesday night. So I know they had a huge start to that game. I think they have 7 runs in the 5th. So grand slam home run. Oh my gosh, even better. Oh, I made him. He was the morning grind image yesterday. Like the morning grind image just continues to smash. So there you go. I did say that, Derek. You're right.
I was going to say, look at what Derek.
But to be fair, I adjusted my Jokic thoughts as he progressed DFS wise. I always thought Jokic was a fantastic player. Never once did I say he was a bad player. I hated him in DFS, but that was when he was like scoring 55 fantasy points a night, and it wasn't enough at his price. And like he changed, and I changed. So. There you go. There was somebody, oh man, for the longest time, it was the second baseman for the Reds. Oh, Brandon Phillips. Was it Brandon Phillips, chat? I know a lot of you have been around for a long time. I think it was Brandon Phillips. Man, that guy tilted me. Joey Votto tilted me. Whew, I really do think it was Brandon Phillips. I think, anyway. San Francisco against Gallen. Anybody here for San Francisco?
Yeah, definitely no bats for me for San Francisco at all.
Yeah.
No shot.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'm just going to commit to Gallen over Kirby and build from there today. All right, let's play the morning grind game, and then we will get out of here. I gotta go prep for a NFL podcast tomorrow. That's what I'm doing for the next couple hours. Yeah. Oh, can't wait. I'm doing it tomorrow too, but I gotta NFL week 1. I've done all the like coaching switches and like I've prepped all that because with best ball and everything and like schemes that should change and stuff. But NFL week 1 has been like my most profitable for like the last 10 years. So I'm just going to hopefully keep that rolling this year. Morning grind game under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who's getting some strikeouts today?
Under 8K. I'll go McGill.
All right. Like I love the commitment, right? Like you have just, you're committed at this point. So I like it. I'm going to go JP Sears over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
I'll go Lugo.
Okay. I like it. I think he's definitely a great option here. I am just going to commit George Kirby to get under 15 fantasy points today. Listen, I love it too, Yuzi. Like, yeah, if you like something, like play what you like. Tim is committing. I love it. Over 4K to hit a home run. Who's going yard today?
I will go with Matt Olson.
Okay. Way back. I love it. Way back. I'm gonna go Corbin Carroll. Like I just something has switched with him. I don't know if he's just healthy or what, but his ISO and power is back. And yeah, Go Corbin Carroll here against Birdsong. Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who's a cheap bat that you like today?
MJ Melendez.
All right, there you go. I'm going to go to my boy, PCA, Crow Armstrong. I like it a lot today. I like the Cubs way back to when we talked about that game an hour ago. Give me PCA to get 2 hits. Stack to score 6 or more runs. Who's scoring some runs today?
I'll go Atlanta.
All right. Arizona Diamondbacks. They're going to finish it out very strong for us on this slate. Give me the Diamondbacks to score 6 or more runs. Any player props or pick 'em plays that you like?
There's nothing up earlier, so let me just check really quick. I was hoping something would be up for McGill. Pitcher props. I'll go the over 5.5 Ks for McGill.
Over 5.5. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can get behind that. There was nothing that I liked as far as like props. So I have a line that I like that I did not include in the 3-pick parlay for the morning grind parlay today. And that is I like Oakland plus 120 money line. I'm going to bet Oakland to beat Seattle today. That is what I like. So I already bet that. That is not part of the 3-pick parlay. Is there any other bets that you like on this slate?
I'm trying to find if there's any Lugo strikeout props. Not seeing any currently. No, that's it for me.
Yeah. Listen, I do not like picking against the Guardians, but I am picking against the Guardians today. That's where I'm going to start my 3-pick parlay. My 3-pick parlay today, plus 512. I missed on Tuesday. It happens. I'm not perfect, and I always am very transparent when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I missed. It happens, but I'm going to start with the Royals money line minus 140. I really like Kansas City today against Ben Lively. I talked about how much he's just kind of dropped off recently. I'm going to go Arizona money line against the Giants minus 135. I really like Zach Gallen today. I think that game is just very mispriced for that matchup for Zach Gallen. And to get to that plus 512 number, I had to do it. Oakland over 3.5 total runs plus 105 to definitely boost that 3-pick parlay. Plus 512. Diamondbacks, Royals win. Oakland over 3.5 total runs. Come ride. Yeah, like not the squad ride, but the morning grind 3-pick parlay. Tim, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I can't wait to listen to your football show with Noto.
So excited. 10 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night, Wednesday. So if you're watching live, it's tomorrow night. If you're listening Wednesday, it's tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern, live on YouTube, Morning Grind YouTube. So subscribe, turn on notifications, come hang out with me and Noto. We're going to talk NFL Week 1. Have a fantastic Wednesday. We're back tomorrow talking football and baseball. We'll have a baseball podcast separate than the football podcast. I don't know if I'll record that live because it'll probably be late. So, but we'll have both of them up on the all the stuff that you listen to podcast wise. So have a good one. We'll see you again tomorrow.